Hey there. So today we'll talk about MongoDB interview questions. What are some of the top MongoDB interview questions available, and what you should be learning or what you should be preparing while going for MongoDB interview? So let's get started. So first, a question that you can expect: what is MongoDB? MongoDB is an open source NoSQL database written in C++ language. It uses JSON-like document with optional schemas. It provides easy scalability and is a cross-platform document-oriented database. MongoDB works on the concept of collection and documents. What are some of the advantages of MongoDB? Some of the advantages of MongoDB are: MongoDB supports field range-based string pattern matching types queries for searching the data in the database. MongoDB supports primary and secondary index on any fields. MongoDB basically uses JavaScript project in place of procedures. MongoDB uses a dynamic database schemas. MongoDB is very easy to scale up or down. MongoDB has inbuilt support for data partitioning or sorting. You must remember at least 2 to 3 points from here. Now moving ahead, what is a document in MongoDB? A document in MongoDB is an object ordered set of keys with associated values. It is represented by a map, hash, or dictionary. In JavaScript, documents are represented in an objects like you can see in the below, where we have the key value pairs. And in case of complex documents, we can have multiple key value pairs, which is in the second row. So what is the next question that you can expect? When do we use a namespace in MongoDB? During the sequencing of the name of the database and the collection, the namespace is used. How does MongoDB provide consistency? MongoDB uses the read-write logs, allowing simultaneous reads to access any supply like a database or a collection, but always offering private access to a single writes. What is a collection in MongoDB? A collection in MongoDB is a group of documents. If a document in the MongoDB is analog for row in a relational database, then a collection can be thought of as the analog to a table. Documents within a single collection can have any number of different shapes, that is, a collection have dynamic schema. For example, you can see here in the 2 row, the number of key value pairs are different. What is aggregation in MongoDB? In MongoDB, aggregations are operations that process data records and return computed results. Define namespace in MongoDB. It is the concatenation of the collection name and the name of the tables. What are databases in MongoDB? MongoDB groups collection into database. MongoDB can host several databases, each grouping together is, in the form of collections. Some reserved database names are admin, local, and config. What is the use of gridfs in MongoDB? Gridfs is used for storing and retrieving large files such as audio, image, and video files. Is MongoDB better than other SQL databases? If yes, then how? MongoDB is better than SQL databases because it allows a highly flexible and scalable document structure. For example, one data document in MongoDB can have 5 columns and the other in the same collection can have just 2 or 10 columns. MongoDB databases are faster than SQL database due to its efficient indexing and storage techniques. Does MongoDB support primary key foreign key relationship? If this is asked, your answer should be no. By default, MongoDB does support primary key foreign key relationship. Can you achieve primary key foreign key relationship in MongoDB? Answer should be we can achieve primary key foreign key relationship by embedding one document inside another. For example, an address document can be embedded inside a customer or client document. Does MongoDB needs a lot of RAM to run? The answer should be no. There is no need for a lot of RAM to run MongoDB. It can be run even on a smaller amount of RAM because it dynamically allocates and deallocates RAM according to the requirement of the process. Next question you can expect in the interview is explain the structure of object ID in MongoDB. So you can answer object ID is 12 bytes based on types. These are 4 byte value representing seconds, 3 bytes used for machine identifier, 2 bytes used as a process ID, and 3 bytes used for counter. What is a storage encryption? Storage encryption encrypts all MongoDB data on a storage or on the operating system to ensure that only authorized process can access the protected data. What are indexes in MongoDB? In MongoDB, indexes are used to execute query efficiently. Without indexes, MongoDB must perform a collection scan, that is, scan every document in a collection to select those documents that matches the query statement. If an appropriate index exists for a query, MongoDB can use the index to limit the number of documents it must inspect. By default, which index is created by MongoDB for every collection? By default, the underscore ID collection is created by MongoDB for every collection in MongoDB. What is the namespace in MongoDB? Namespace is a concatenation of the database name and the collection name, the collection in which the MongoDB stores BSON objects. Next question that you can expect in interview is, why does profiler used in MongoDB? MongoDB uses a database profiler to perform characteristics of each operation against the database. You can use a profiler to find queries and write operations. If you remove an object attribute, is it deleted from the database? If this question is asked, you can answer yes, it can be. Remove the attributes and then save the objects. Does MongoDB needs a lot of RAM? No, MongoDB run on a smaller free space of RAM. What language you can use with MongoDB? MongoDB client driver supports all the popular programming languages, so there is no issue of language. You can use any language that you want. For example, Java is also one of the supported languages. Does MongoDB database have tables for storing records? No, instead of tables, MongoDB uses collections to store data. How to do transaction or locking in MongoDB? MongoDB does not use traditional locking or complex transaction with rollback. MongoDB is designed to be lightweighted, fast, and predictable to its performance. It keeps transaction support simple to enhance the performance. Now, if you need to explain the covered queries in MongoDB, you can say a query is called covered query if it satisfies the following two conditions. The field used in the query are part of the index used in the query. The field returned in the results are in the same index. What is a replica set in MongoDB? A replica can be specified as a group of MongoDB instances that host the same dataset. In a replica set, one node is primary and the other is the secondary. All data is replicated from primary to secondary nodes. So thank you so much for watching today's video, and if you think the videos are helpful, do like the video and subscribe to the channel.